All right, in this video, we are going to talk about percent problems. Uh, all of us went to the store and we saw maybe 20% off sales, right? And you found something that was $243. So the question is, if it is 20% off, how much um, that product costs? In order to do that, let's solve a few percent problems that I highlighted here in this worksheet. So first of all, it's very important to understand that when they say what, that means we don't know it. So we are going to label it with X. So some vocabulary. When they say of, then we are going to use times. And when they say is, we are going to use the symbol equal. So let's start with problem 1. What percent of 126 is 22? So x times 126 equals 22. Now this is an equation, so we are going to try to find x. So by doing that, to do that, we divide by 126 both sides and we get x equals 22 over 126. Let's do the division. So if you divide that with your calculator, you're going to get 0.17460 and more decimals than that. But they said what percent. So I'm going to change that into a percentage by multiplying by 100%. We have a video for that too. We move the decimal point 2 places to the right and we get 17.46%, or we can just say 17.5%. And that would be our final answer. 22 is 17.5% of 126. Let's take a look at problem 3. Problem 3 says 25.7 is what percent of 141? So let's translate again using this vocabulary that we have here. So 25.7 equals, right, is what percent x times 141. So again, we divide by 141 because we want to get x by itself. So we get x equals 25.7 over 141. Over means division, so let's divide 25.7 divided by 141. So now we get 0.18. Let's write 4 decimals after a decimal point. So 2, actually round to 2 decimals after a decimal point. If we look at the next decimal, it's 6. So I'm going to put 2, 3. Now change that into a decimal, into a percentage. We multiply by 100%. We move the decimal point 2 places to the right, and we get 18.23%. And we solved another problem. Let's take a look at problem 7. 62% of what is 89.3? So 62% of x equals 89.3. Now, we want to change the percentage into a decimal, and we learn how to do that by moving the decimal point 2 places to the left. So 0.62x equals 89.3. We divide by 0.62 both sides, and we get x equals 89.3 divided by 0.62 equals 144. I'm going to round it to 2 decimals, so 0.3, because the next decimal after 3 is 2, so I'm going to leave it 0.3. Let's do problem 9. 30% of 117 is what? So 30% of means times 117 equals x, right? So we want to find this. Now, 30% means 0.3 of 117 equals, well, let's do the math using the calculator, 117, so we get 35.1. So 30% of 117 is actually 35.1. So now, let's go back to the problem that I started with when I was telling you about 20% sales and you find some product that is 243. So if it's sale, So basically off, right? So we want to find out what is 20% of 243, how much you are going to save actually. So 0.2 times 243 equals 0.2 times 243 equals 48.6. I'm going to keep the decimal because it's basically $48.60, right? This is what you are going to save. So the original price minus 48.60 is going to give you the actual amount that you are going to pay. So 243, we get 194.40. That would be the final price. That's what you are going to pay for that product that you wanted.